Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today we are going to look at a shovel. That's right, I said a shovel. Now for me, there are two reasons to use the shovel as a weapon. Number one is just the ridiculousness of it, chasing enemies around, chasing monsters around, trying to kill them with a shovel. I just think is very silly and a lot of fun. Number two is the bonk sound that it makes whenever you connect a hit. That's just, it's one of the more fun sounds in the game, I think. And that's really the main reason to use a shovel, is for the fun aspect of it. As far as damage goes, it's kind of middle of the road for melee weapons. It's not some super overpowered thing, but you can kill stuff with it. You could do just fine, which I will show you later on. So the shovel I am using is vampires with weapon speed and weapon breaks slower, which is a good combination. Weapon speed and vampires is kind of my favorite combination on most melee weapons. The auto spin up ones, I prefer power attack damage, but pretty much everything else I do like weapon speed. There are no mods for the shovel. It just is what it is. There's also no plan for a shovel, so it's not something you can craft. If you want a legendary one, you have to get lucky with a legendary drop, or you have to find one in the world and roll it as legendary, or get lucky like I did. Someone actually dropped one of these, or dropped this one for me on a recent live stream. We are using hack and slash, which will actually help quite a bit. It is a two-handed weapon, so we are using the slugger perks. Also have martial artist to help that swing speed just a little bit more, and incisor for armor penetration. Tenderizer as well. Most of the time we're not going to be killing things in one hit, so getting additional damage on the second and third hit beyond will be helpful as well. Also have bloody mess for a little bit of extra damage. And because we are using a vampire weapon, ricochet will be tremendously helpful in keeping our health up. I also have a full set of thorn armor, so there's a little bit of bleed damage, which will be helping us out. For the mutations, I have twisted muscles, which gives extra 25% extra melee damage and a chance to cripple. And I have carnivore because we are using meat-based foods to boost our damage quite a bit, actually. So the damage buffs will come from Tasty Aguai Roast, which will give us extra 170% melee damage, and Deathclaw Wellington, which increases our strength, which translates directly into extra melee damage. All right, let's see how we could do against some robots with a shovel. Let's see, if I use it out of vats, bonk. Can't necessarily always hear the bonk with other effects. Yeah, it just makes such a satisfying sound when you hit stuff. And yes, we're not killing stuff in one hit. Sometimes it takes two hits. Ooh, yes. We get hack and slash and the bleed damage from thorn armor. That really does make a huge difference. So yeah, having your perks, the right kind of perks, the right combination of perks and other gear can actually, it just brings a lot more weapons into play. So you don't necessarily have to spec into the top. I mean, I do use higher damage weapons, so it's not like I'm saying don't use top tier weapons, but you know, having thorn armor actually brings a lot of things into play because of that extra bleed damage. Hack and slash as well, because when that triggers, of course I have to be in vats for that to trigger, but when that triggers, that will actually do a nice, not just more damage on the target, but it also does nice area of effect damage as well. There we go. We're not getting a lot of, there we go. When that that triggers, there's only one enemy, but still, I mean, just the whole idea of just, yeah, I'm doing a lot of running, so my AP is not where I need it to be. There we go. So we are taking care of stuff just fine, and having this be vampires with ricochet does help. Although one thing I will say about that, ricochet and vampire works a lot better with like a high rate of fire weapon, where they're shooting me just kind of a shot here and there. It doesn't seem to be as effective. It won't trigger as often. So yeah, you're gonna do really good against, say, a laser turret or a super mutant with a minigun. Against something that fires a slow rate, you're not gonna get as much healing. But overall, we're still doing just fine. We're doing just fine. We're not one-hitting most things, but you know, I don't actually care. This is just, this thing when you're using it is all about fun. It's not the main weapon I use on this character, but it is something I pull out when I want to have a good time. One thing I will say about the shovel it's kind of impossible to use. Yeah, you can hear the bonk sound. It's hard to hear over my talking, but it's one of those weapons that's really hard to use without a smile on your face. It just doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter that it's not the strongest thing in the world. I mean, just the bonk sound alone is enough. Let's do a power attack damage. Oh, there we go. Yeah, power attack's pretty good. Try just power attacks without vats. Get a little bit of healing. Now, it's not a fast. I think the shovel it's either slow or it's medium. I don't remember which off the top of my head. I'm thinking it's probably slow. Oh, there we go. Still gets the job done, though. Shovel, yeah, it's a slow swinging weapon. So yeah, having one with swing speed and using martial artist make a big difference. And sometimes you just get lucky and hack and slash triggers and kills things in one hit. And I think the shovel is actually really good if you want to do some sort of role play. Maybe you were a landscaper before the bombs dropped, or a grave digger, whatever, or a ditch digger, whatever you want to call it. That's power attack right there. There we go. Yeah, it's so much fun. All right, looks like we've got an Agua to fight, which I was looking. Took me a few spots to find something big, but I guess the ghouls are on my side, so let's see how we do with... Oh, we are not doing a lot of damage against the Agua at all. They are pretty tanky. But if we can get a hack and slash to trigger, it's supposed to be half the time, but sometimes it feels... Whoa, okay. Sometimes it feels more than that, but right now it's not. It's feeling like it's less. There we go. Hack and slash. Okay. They do a lot of, yeah, they hit pretty, well, okay. They hit pretty hard, and they do stagger. Now, I do use the pneumatic mod on my armor, on my chest piece. That does help with staggering a little bit. Not as much as I would like, but it does help with a little bit. Let's try a power attack. What does that do? Oh, 90 versus 52. Yeah, I don't know. Whoa. That was, yeah, those staggers are really frustrating. And, yeah, these guys are really tanky. I wouldn't mind a mod. I do wish the shovel had some mods available. My armor's gonna break. I'll have to look at that after this. Not something I'm gonna deal with in the middle of this fight, but I do wish there was mods for this. I think a flaming shovel head would be pretty cool. That way it would also work with friendly fire as well. Or, oh, I don't know. Just something. Maybe change a visibly a serrated edge or something like that. But yeah, no mods. Plus, you know, plus the damage is just not top tier. Most people are chasing top tier stuff, which is, you know, I do as well. But for fun, once in a while, this is a nice change of pace. Now that my armor is all sorted out, let's see how we do against a bunch of Mirelurks and their queen. Hopefully we get a nice high-level queen and not a level... It can be anywhere between level 60 to level 100 and legendary. So, yeah, the AP cost for this is actually rather high. I think the ideal 3rd star if you're going to use this in VATS, and I highly recommend that you do, just because VATS melee is a lot of fun, and hack and slash can really add a lot to the damage. So I think the ideal 3rd star for something like this would actually be reduced AP cost if you're going to use it that way. It's kind of clipped. Now most humans, well, I was gonna say most humans should be a one-shot, but not so much. Okay, we have this one down here. I didn't really want to fight on his terms, but wow, they are tanky. You can see our damage is not, you know, there are lots of weapons that do more damage, especially when you miss over and over again. Lots of weapons that do more damage than this, but yeah, this is basically about good enough damage and lots of extra fun. All right, let's flush that queen out and get her to come to me over here. I'm over in this direction. I don't like fighting in the water down there. It's just, you just can't really see what's going on. I mean, it's not so deep. Yeah, I mean, it's taken me a lot to kill a regular one, so this may take a minute to kill her, but let's take care of the helpers first. Now, my poison resistance is really good, so that shouldn't be much of an issue, but her melee attacks can still do a lot of damage. We're actually doing okay, except when we pass right through her. But yeah, so she's level 100. And she's definitely leaving a mark when she attacks us. Even with a vampire, I mean, we have such slow swing speed, but the amount of healing that you get isn't a lot. So in terms of getting, you know, health back from combat, this is not your best option. You probably want something that gives you, you know, something like Aristocrats or Bloodied or whatever to give you more damage. It does work though when you're under fire from like a high fire rate weapon. Pair that with Ricochet can really help a lot. But we're slowly getting the job done. We are, you know, we have a shovel. We're no stranger to hard work, and we don't mind it taking a little bit longer to kill our enemies. All right, let's see what we could do with a dragon and her minions. Rather, I was gonna say her enemies, but they're not. Yeah, all the way over there. Come to me. How about that? Get some attention over in this direction. Usually it's just like a couple of Mirelurks over there. That's kind of the typical kind of thing. I'm not really sure. Yeah, maybe she's coming this way. Get a wing, maybe. There we go. Shouldn't take much. I have Enforcer maxed out, so I should be able to cripple pretty much with any shot at all. Okay, she's coming in for a landing, maybe? Right on my head. All right, let's get over here, see what we can do against her. Wow. One thing I will say, when you're using melee VATs, you really have to get used to being disoriented, because a lot of times you just end up kind of pointed in all kinds of weird directions. But we're doing all right. Doing decent work against her, and now we just have all of the minions and the the others, more Mirelurks to deal with. And there you have it, the shovel. A weapon that is mediocre when it comes to combat effectiveness, but top tier when it comes to fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.